Over the last weekend, Derrick Lewis shows us his ass. Now Conor McGregor shows us his dong. What is going on? What in the humiliation ritual is this? We got a lot to talk about today, guys. Apparently, Conor McGregor woke up on his birthday yesterday. That's right, yesterday was his birthday. And the first thing he does is takes a dumbbell, ties it to his dick and takes a picture of it, sends it to some girl on DMs and says, lifting weights. That's not all we're going to talk about today, though. Oh my God. Joe Rogan. He's only been commentating in America lately the past few years, and he's only missed like 2 or 3 events since then. He's almost at all the events, but for some reason he's sitting out this one. He must not care about Poirier. Joe Rogan will not be commentating this weekend for the UFC 318 pay-per-view, and we don't know why. There is no reason behind this. Is he beefing with Trump? Or is it he doesn't care about UFC no more and we were all right? Because we've been getting sick of Joe Rogan's commentary. We're sick of him and Dana White pushing these stupid narratives. They're out of touch with the sport. So boo-hoo, no one gives a shit. We're going to go over the comments proving no one's really going to be missing Joe Rogan this weekend, alright? But without further ado, let's get straight into this. What the hell is going on here? So yesterday, Conor McGregor, it's his birthday. And now there's leaked images of him sending Azalea Banks, some witch, some crazy musician. I've heard the name, but I don't listen to that shit. She's a weirdo, though. She keeps chickens in her closet and sacrifices them. She does weird things to animals, sacrifices them. She's a witch. So why would Conor McGregor send unsolicited pictures to this witch and then threaten her and say, don't be a rat because all rats get caught? Why would he do that? Now first I'm thinking this must be a mistake. Conor must have sent this to some other chick. He must have sent this to someone else. There's no proof that he sent it to Azalea Banks, but she's the one who posted it, alright? And I find it hard to believe out of all the chicks in the world, he's going to send these pics to Azalea Banks. I mean, have you seen that chick? She looks hideous. She looks horrendous. What is that even? Conor has low standards, alright? We know he sets the bar low. But yeah, here it is. She posts a picture of Conor exposing himself to her, unsolicited, and she says, how you going to send a bitch some crooked dick pics, then threaten her not to tell? Mike Chandler already saved this in his camera roll, guys. And who knows, maybe Joe Rogan too. But she exposed him for having a boomerang dick. Thank God this has been edited and covered up. Thank you to the editors, because this was sent completely unedited, completely unfiltered. Thank you, shout out for putting this circle over it. But I was told, I did not zoom in, but I was told he tied a dumbbell, one of those little 3-pound dumbbells. He strapped it to his dong and just let it hang as a workout to stretch out his dong and make his dong appear bigger. What are we doing here, Conor? Wear your birthday suit, fuck it. But why are you sending it to this witch who's clearly gonna expose you? But the best part is lifting weights. Who ties a weight around their dong, sends it unsolicited, and says lifting weights? And then right after says, don't be a rat because all rats get caught. Dude, I don't know what's going on with Conor lately, man. I don't. Maybe Conor McGregor watched Derrick Lewis fight last weekend, and he saw Derrick Lewis moon thousands of people in the stands. He mooned millions of people watching on live TV. Derrick Lewis took off his shorts and showed the crowd his bare ass, and everyone loved him for it. Thousands of people in the crowd were screaming. Did you guys see that video of those white guys in the crowd going, "Yeah! Derrick Lewis showed us his ass"? Conor saw that maybe, and he was like, "Wow, you get praise for this stuff nowadays?" So Conor tried it out, but he showed off the other side. Now the world thinks he's a weirdo creep. Derrick Lewis can say my balls was hot. He can moon the crowd. But Conor can't send a leaked DM. No, I agree. It's unsolicited, weird behavior from Conor. Especially when the narrative is he's still together with D. Devlin. Derrick Lewis, I blame you. Look what you created. Look what you started. Anyway, let's move on from this already. We've seen enough. Alright, I want to jump on to something else real quick. Because Joe Rogan will not be commentating this weekend. And the UFC brass thinks fans are going to be disappointed. What was the headline here? Fight fans might be let down to hear that Joe Rogan won't be in the commentary booth for UFC 318. What are they talking about? Fans are going to be more amped than ever. People that actually listen to the audio during the fights are more excited than ever now. Joe Rogan, all he says is leg kicks, leg kicks, leg kicks. How do fighters cut so much weight? How do they cut so much weight? Jon Jones is the most inventive, creative GOAT there ever is. What else does he say? He just has 5 quotes and that's it. That's as far as his MMA brain can take it. He has 5 lines and he just runs with those and repeats them over and over again. It's horrible. He was decent during the Mike Goldberg era, okay? He was actually the smart commentator when Mike Goldberg was by his side. But right around when Mike Goldberg left, oh my God, this guy doesn't have his head in the game anymore. He's a casual. He doesn't know anything. He hasn't learned anything new since 2016. He hasn't improved his commentary one bit. I mean, doesn't he promote that Alpha Brain supplement? Maybe that stuff makes you retarded. Maybe it makes you dumb. Because the bigger Joe Rogan's head gets from these steroids and the Alpha Brain he's taken, the dumber he gets. I mean, the brain to skull ratio is insane. What does this guy know about MMA anymore? What does he bring to the table? What, nostalgia? When the UFC first started? Sure, I'll give him that. He gives you nostalgia? Okay, yeah, he reminds you of UFC when it first started because he was the original commentator? Sure. What does that mean in 2025? He sucks. He's a shill. Ever since he went to Spotify, I don't listen to him anymore. He changed all his viewpoints. He just brain rots you with his stupid narratives over and over. He plays dumb about Jon Jones. He's like Dana White, but he's ruining the sport in his own way. Now he's missing out on UFC 318, a pay-per-view in America. It's not like the guy has to travel anymore and leave the country. He stays in America, but now he won't even be there for Dustin Poirier's retirement fight. And there's no reason. You would think they would provide a reason or something, right? Joe Rogan's sick, out of UFC 318. Joe Rogan this, Joe Rogan that, but no. Maybe we were right. He's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He's a casual now. Maybe he knows we caught on and he doesn't want to show his face anymore. That'd be awesome. You want to know how dumb Joe Rogan is? I'll show you how dumb Joe Rogan is. This was when Conor McGregor knocked out Cowboy. Cowboy quit in that fight. He even admitted it. I'm going to pull that video up in a second. But this is Joe Rogan's claim to fame. This was his highlight of his MMA knowledge, which soon turned out to be Joe Rogan being wrong and Stephen A. Smith, some ESPN guy who knows nothing about MMA, he ended up being right.
We haven't learned a damn thing about Conor McGregor based off of this fight.
Really?
Because who were you? Listen, the man did not get hit other than 1 kick to the arm. That's it. I mean, he didn't. Let's.
Because this was a bullshit fight. And Cowboy Cerrone gave up easily. He gave up quickly. I'm going to pull up the interview in just a second of him saying he didn't want to be in there. But Joe Rogan, of course, his stance is completely different than the truth. You're going to hear Joe Rogan's response real quick.
I have gotten hit that much in the last week, okay? And I don't fight. I mean, come on, y'all. The fact of the matter is we don't know, and we know that Conor McGregor is a champion. We know he's a great fighter. We know that he's box office. He's phenomenal for the sport. We're all happy he won. If you love this sport, you got to be happy that Conor McGregor won. But you didn't learn anything from tonight's fight because Cowboy Cerrone just didn't show up. I could have...
Look at Joe Rogan rolling his eyes in disgust. Stephen A. Smith said Cowboy Cerrone didn't show up, right? And Joe Rogan's about to refute that. Hold up.
My whole life.
Before Joe Rogan refutes that, I want to show you right now Joe Rogan's wrong. I'm going to cut Joe Rogan off right there before he speaks.
To be a UFC fighter and stand here in front of hundreds of thousands of people and fight. And on Conor McGregor fight, the biggest eyes, millions watching, my moment, and I didn't want to be there.
BAM! And what fight was he talking about?
And on Conor McGregor fight, the biggest eyes, millions watching.
One more time, what fight was Cowboy talking about?
And on Conor McGregor fight, the biggest eyes, millions watching, my moment, and I didn't want to be there. I cannot answer that any clearer than that. It was such a strange feeling. When I was in the back, and I don't even want to go out there.
What now? Now let's listen to this dumbass speak and get proven wrong by an ESPN guy who knows nothing about MMA, but clearly knows more than Joe Rogan. Look at Joe Rogan. He cannot wait to dispute the truth. He can't wait to dispute the facts. Take it away, Joe.
I disagree. We learned he rises to the occasion. We learned he can put Cowboy away. We learned that he can land a head kick. We learned that he can beat him down. We learned.
Do you hear the brain rot? Joe Rogan's saying we learned tons of things from the Conor McGregor Cowboy fight. We learned Conor McGregor can land a head kick? Bro, I hate to break it to you, but Conor McGregor landed a head kick against Dennis Seaver, Chad Mendez. The list goes on and on. What do you mean we learned Conor McGregor can land a head kick? He was an MMA champion. Of course he can land a head kick. What else did we learn? He can put Cowboy away. Tons of fighters put Cowboy away. Prior to this fight, Cowboy was on a 2-fight losing streak by knockouts. I just disproved everything Joe Rogan claimed we learned from the McGregor Cowboy fight. But go on. What else did we learn, Joe Rogan?
Learned that this guy performs when the lights are on him.
We learned Conor McGregor performs when the lights were on him? Conor McGregor's prime was 2015 and 2016. Conor McGregor fought Cowboy in 2019. But 4 years later, we just now learned Conor can fight with the bright lights above him? Man, this guy's stupid. We already knew Conor can fight under the big lights on the big stage. That's why he was the biggest star in the sport. But Joe Rogan's acting like we just learned this 5 years after his prime? What else? Tell me something I don't know, Joe Rogan.
On him. We already knew that, but we
already knew that. Thank you. That's my point, dumbass. He just said, I disagree, Stephen A. Smith. We learned tons of stuff. Rattled off a bunch of nothing and then said, but we already knew that. So why are you talking? What was the point of you interrupting Stephen A. Smith to say I disagree, make your points about shit we already knew, and then said, but we already learned that? I could go on, but we got to switch the video up. Again, Cowboy disproves everything Joe Rogan claimed.
McGregor fight, the biggest eyes, millions watching, my moment, and I didn't want to be there. I cannot answer that any clearer than that. It was.
Stephen A. Smith was right. He was right.
fighter. We know that he's box office. He's phenomenal for the sport. We're all happy he won. If you love this sport, you got to be happy that Conor McGregor won. But you didn't learn anything from tonight's fight because Cowboy Cerrone just didn't show up. I could have ran for 40 seconds.
I disagree. We learned.
So you heard it here. Cowboy said, I didn't show up. Stephen A. Smith said, Cowboy didn't show up. And Joe Rogan's like, I disagree. I'm the expert. And Joe Rogan didn't end it there. Joe Rogan was proved wrong, but had to continue his stupid stance on his podcast. Check this out.
Felt like Cowboy quit. He did not quit. He got smashed.
Conor, wait. Cowboy didn't what?
He got smashed. He got smashed. Cowboy quit. He did not quit.
He didn't?
Such a strange feeling. When I was in the back, and I don't even want to go out there. I don't want to go. I don't want to be. So when Conor gave me a door, I took it. That was my inner, right? Took the door. Let's go. Let's get out.
There's just some stupidity you shouldn't even respond to. And I love Rampage's approach in here. He's just talking calmly, nonchalantly, making Joe Rogan look stupid himself.
So you think John was enhanced?
Yeah, I think it's proven.
Really? Because of the whole thing with the picograms, whatever the fuck?
Joe Rogan's in shock. He's actually pressing Rampage. You actually believe John Jones was on steroids because he failed the steroid test? What else am I supposed to think? Thank God we don't have to deal with this during UFC 318. Let me just let it roll.
That shit is.
Well, see, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to it, but I just thought he got popped, so I assumed that he was in there.
He did, but the problem...
He did get popped, but... We don't need this guy in the sport. He's a shill. Shill.
That he got popped with, there were so minuscule levels that it didn't make sense.
So what if they were minuscule levels? He was flushing it out of his system clearly, and he didn't get the last bit. He flushed out 99% of the steroids. There was still that 1% remaining, and he got caught. If we lose Dana White, John Jones, and Joe Rogan, I actually think that would be for the greater good of the sport. I never thought I would say that. I'll catch you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit like, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and I'll keep dropping. Peace.